Hello, hello, hello. So today I wanted to talk about um, PTSD and how I have pulled myself out of it, how I've got out of it, how I'm working through it, because it's a really hard, very difficult thing to deal with, and a lot of the times people don't understand that that's what they're going through. Um, there's just everybody has trauma. Everybody has trauma. I don't care who you are. Every single person on this planet has trauma, and it all stems from childhood. Whether it be something as simple and easy as abandonment issues from your mom dropping you off at your first day of kindergarten and leaving. Like, that is a traumatic experience for a child. People don't realize that. And it causes abandonment issues as children get older. So, don't mind me, I like to make my videos in the morning after I've had some coffee and no, I haven't showered. I'm trying to save some soap and I don't really have anybody to smell good for, so I don't really care at this point. It's a waste of soap, it's a waste of makeup, just a waste of stuff that are precious things that I don't really have right now, so I'd rather conserve them. And yeah, I wrote some of it down so that my train of thought doesn't go kind of everywhere. I wrote some of it down. I'm going to wing it after I am done talking about what I wrote down. So, I like to call this meditation and marijuana because that's basically how I pulled myself out of my trauma. And I don't care what anybody says. That's how I coped with my trauma. That's how I dealt with it, was through meditation and marijuana. Um, at that point, uh, I was by myself, and pills and me don't really get along. Meds and me don't really get along. I took lorazepam for, gosh, I want to say close to 4 years. And I didn't abuse it, but I was physically dependent on it. Like, my body was physically addicted to it. And I thought since I didn't abuse it, I wouldn't have any problems coming off it. Well, that was some of the worst withdrawal symptoms I've ever been through in my life. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So I'm a natural lady. I like to do things the natural way, the best that I can. And uh, marijuana helped me. It helped me a lot. So I get that it's illegal. Obviously, I don't smoke marijuana right now because I'm pregnant. But, it's not for everybody, but it helped me. And I don't care about the stigma behind it, even though it's 2021, almost 2022. And the stigma is kind of subsiding because people realize that it is, in fact, medicine. So, anyways, starting off, PTSD ain't no motherfucking joke. When it gets triggered, it is hard to come out of. I can honestly say my PTSD started getting triggered in March of 2020, and life has been a living hell ever since. The absolute tipping point was January 17th, 2021. I had been raped. I reached out to people I thought were my friends. I reached out to family. I reached out to my future ex-husband. I reached out to my oldest son's stepmother. And it all blew up in my face because every single one of them played and took advantage of my trauma. And those are the people that I reached out for help. So, I didn't know what to do. I was losing my mind. I've had episodes before, and another huge PTSD stint I had in 2002, 2003, also because of rape. I stayed in trauma. I lived in a PTSD mode, in severe trauma from the age of 19 to 22. And it was like I just came out of it. It was very weird. But during those years, those were some of the scariest, most terrible years of my life. And all I kept doing was racking up trauma, it seemed. Like, I reached out to my mom, and, you know, it just didn't work out. I'll talk about that. During that time, I attempted to kill myself numerous times. So from 19 to 22, that's the reason I wear bracelets, is to hide my scars, because I slit my wrist, I cut myself very deeply. I tried to take a bunch of pills. Um, I just I reached out for help, and I had none. I had none. I reached out to my mother, but my mother doesn't deal with issues. It's always been that way, and she never has. Since I was technically mentally ill and wasn't a perfect version of a daughter, I was cast aside. I was discarded. She's never held herself accountable for the things that she said and done, and that's honestly the only way to heal. Well, this past year, I reached out to her as well. She said that I was just being dramatic, that everybody knew I was full of shit. I still have the text messages that she sent me, that I wasn't really raped. I heard rumors that she told my cousin that I wasn't raped, that I got caught in bed with my boss's husband, which is fucking barf. Yuck. And so my boss beat the shit out of me, which is not true. And it was so perfect because everybody thought that I would never turn in my rape, and I did. I turned it in. I turned that motherfucker in, and I cannot wait to sit in court and put his ass in prison for raping me. I cannot wait. It's going to happen. But anyways, so I got triggered. I got triggered because I had no help. My future ex-husband had been stalking me, harassing me, threatening to kill me. I moved to Whiting. He moved to Whiting. Literally a month later, I asked for help. I got nothing. I reached out to an ex-boyfriend. He is the only one who kind of sort of helped me. The only one. And that was probably difficult for him. He was going through some shit. He was having issues. I was going through some massive fucking shit. I was having big issues. I got triggered by everything. I don't know, for those who have PTSD, like, you literally think everybody is out to get you. You think everybody is trying to hurt you, trying to kill you, trying to rape you, that nobody has good intentions towards you. And it is maddening. I mean, it's maddening. Like, PTSD and vets, I mean, when you're going through that trauma and you're witnessing stuff that is just stuff that people shouldn't have to witness, you go somewhere else. You are in survival mode. Like, you are not in your body. Your body is just doing. That's it. And that's how I was living my life. It was my body. I wasn't thinking. I was just doing. I was in a state of severe trauma. Everything anybody said to me, it was like they were talking about me. They were telling stories about me. And it took me so long to realize that that's not what was happening. Even though some of that could have been a little true, absolutely. But for the vast majority of that is I was not okay. Everything triggered me, everything. And it was so hard to, first of all, recognize it, and second of all, seek help. So I reached out for help. Um, I got set up for therapy. Well, my therapist was really hard to get into. So in the meantime, I taught myself how to meditate. And how I taught myself how to meditate was I just laid there. I just laid there or I just sat there. Conversations would be going on around me. And instead of taking them in and making them about myself, I just allowed those thoughts to float by, to not affect me, to not have an emotion tied to those thoughts, because regardless of whether people were saying stuff about me or not, it was irrelevant. So it took a lot of practice, but that's how I taught myself how to sleep. Some people were saying that I was on drugs. I was not on drugs. I was going through trauma. Now, when a person signs of PTSD would be like slurred speech, um, just there's a lot of different signs and symptoms of PTSD, like just not being coherent. That's because I wasn't really in my body. I was somewhere else and not in a good place either, not in that meditative state, but I was in a meditative state, but just not there. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. So I taught myself how to meditate. I'd be sitting there and I would not even, I would hear conversations that would go on, but they wouldn't affect me. I would just let them fly through my mind. I call it putting it in the spank bank, like my brain's my spank bank, so I can, you know, mull it over later, think about it later. That's what I did. So I taught myself how to meditate. There's a lot of fucking crazy shit that was going on during that time, uh, that was very real, that, that was happening to me. And I just, yeah, I, I had to learn how to get over it. Um, in the past, when I was going through my PTSD, I just locked myself in the house. Well, I didn't do that this time. I went out and I got a job. That was hard for me too. When you're in active PTSD and trauma and you're living actively in it, it's really hard to go out into public and to be around people and not make an ass out of yourself because people don't understand. Like, I left my job that I was at because one, they weren't paying me enough. And two, when I gave my crisis plan to my manager, aka my cousin, she told me, don't use this as an excuse to not work. When I was the only motherfucker that was working real fucking hard in that job and I was underpaid. And if somebody burnt their finger on the motherfucking grill, like, they didn't have to clean shit. Well, I wasn't okay with that. When I had real fucking issues going on, from being raped, from being stalked, from being threatened to be killed by my future ex-husband. Like, all of this is real shit. He wouldn't let me see my daughter. Then I got his cousin, which is my first baby daddy, um, withholding my child from me that I raised for 10 fucking years. And that's just okay. But they're doing that because of money, because they wanted a stimulus. Have the stimulus. I'd rather have my child because you guys are fucking him up. Like, now all of a sudden my child has ADHD and anger issues and depression. Well, gee, I wonder why. He hasn't seen his mom. He hasn't been with his mom. And you fuckers aren't trying to help me like you're supposed to. Like, you're saying, oh, we reach out to her. No, you fucking don't. You ignore my phone calls. You ignore my texts. And I'm just supposed to be okay. So since I've been financially abused and I have nothing because of these motherfuckers, trust me, their time's coming. It's coming. And I'm pissed. I am so pissed. I'll continue to be pissed because I'm getting my children back. You can't take my kids away from me because I got raped. That's neither here nor there. So I learned how to meditate, and I started smoking a lot of fucking weed. I mean, a lot of weed, because it was the only way I could not be triggered. It helped me not have anxiety. I wasn't just completely ripped all day. I would just take a couple of hits throughout the day just to relax, just to get out of that state of anxiety, that constant panic, that always looking over my shoulder. You know, I think I was an easy target because I had no support system. I had none. Like, my mother helped ruin that. My future ex-husband definitely helped ruin that. And that's just the way it is. Like, I'm not full of shit. I live my life the way that I live my life. Another way that I helped get rid of my trauma is I started to create shit. I learned new skills. So I learned how to make jewelry. I learned how to make earrings. I learned how to macrame. I learned how to, I just started doing things that I didn't know how to do. I taught myself how to do them. Macrame is pretty fucking easy. It didn't take me long to get that down. Like, it was just something that I wanted to do. I've never been one that doesn't like feeling unhealthy. I hate feeling unhealthy. I hate not feeling mentally, emotionally, physically, I just hate being unstable. And so if I start to feel unstable, I stop that. I reach out for help. My therapist still is very hard to get into. I've been seeing her more lately, thank God. But EMDR is no joke. Like, there's a whole plan that they write out because you get triggered. Like, you are bringing up trauma and you are desensitizing yourself to it. You're not erasing it, you're just replacing it. You're replacing it with positive things, positive stuff. So it's, instead of that belief, that negative belief that we hold on to, you're replacing it. It's called bilateral tapping. The way that I do it is like this. This is my way, the butterfly, but it's equal left and right tapping. And by doing this, I activate the positive stuff that I've tapped in, the good positive things, which, despite all the shit I've been through, I still have a lot of positive things that I go through, that I experience on a daily basis. So, I don't think it's any secret that I'm an advocate for marijuana, for hemp, for CBD, because it's medicine. It's very beneficial. You're healing your body. You're healing your spirit. You're healing. Meditation is also wonderful because you can not be triggered by all of the shit going on around you. And it's really easy to do, but it takes a lot of practice. There's lots of different methods. There's lots of different things to do it. What I like to do is put on some music or just sit in silence. It doesn't matter. But I put on some water sounds, and then I just relax. I put myself in. I watch my thoughts go. I watch them go. I don't pay any mind to my thoughts. I don't put any stock into my thoughts. I just let them go, because thoughts aren't feelings. And that's what I do. Let's It's been a long time since I smoked freaking marijuana because I am pregnant, but you know, it does help. It's not for everybody. Some people it gives them even more anxiety. It stresses them out more. In which case I would recommend CBD. They got this really good stuff. It's Delta 8 THC. It's not real THC. It's just hemp. It's just CBD, but it works wonderfully. Like it works for anxiety, depression, insomnia, um, just pain in general. Uh, yeah, one of these days I want to have a hemp farm so I can make hemp products and, I just stop people from cutting down trees and, making like lots of things you can make with hemp besides rope. And hemp rope is good too. So, anyways, I would apologize for crying, but I don't apologize for anything that I do these days because I just don't. I don't do anything but be me. So with that being said, I hope this video helps somebody. I'm going to say this just to piss off my first ex-husband. This is my stepson's shirt. His name is Mason. He took his own life, and I'm not allowed to talk about him because it triggers his father. So I'm wearing this shirt. I wear it frequently. I'm a Nebraska fan, but I know, right? Don't hate on me. I wear this shirt because it was his and because he deserves to live on. He does. He deserves to be remembered and recognized, and I don't care what my first ex-husband says. He has no right to tell me I can't talk to my son about his brother. Like, that pisses me off too. So this is in honor of Mason Kenneth Reed, who left us June 14th, 2015, forever 13. So anywho, I love you. I love me. For the stalkers, haters, whatever, keep on hating. I don't give a shit. For the ones that care about me, I love you. So have a good day.